Hello, Allah. Very good morning. Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. Okay. So today we supposed to start up with uh, object identification mechanism. So before starting object identification mechanism, anybody having any questions? STLC you say. Software testing life cycle we discussed, right? So that is the one we are. So agile methodology you explain. Normally, especially they are asking agile methodology means agile methodology you say, but they are saying only testing life cycle means you explain fishbone model. Okay. Any more questions? Exactly. Yeah. Any more questions? No, no, no. Yesterday I didn't take any class. So. Okay. Any more questions? Oh, I will check it up, Shweta. I'll check it up. Okay. I was a bit busy today, so I will check it up and I will reply back. Okay. Okay. So then we go for object identification mechanism. But before going object identification, what we do is we'll try to see recording features in our QTP. There are three types of recording modes we come up in our QTP. So those are nothing but normal recording, excuse me, uh, analog recording and low level recording. So in our class we'll be covering like object identification. So means like object oriented concepts, very high level. What is object, what is class, what is method, so what is property, then object identification mechanism. So before going object identification, we have one topic, small topic, recording modes. So as I said, there are three recording modes you will come up in our QTP: normal recording, analog recording, also you can consider like high level recording, then you will get up with low level recording. Okay. So during normal recording, what exactly your QTP do is it will try to record all of your mouse and keyboard operations. Okay. So whatever I have shown in our last class, that is nothing but like normal recording. Okay. So let me show you once again. So record. So by default it will enable normal recording. Okay. So as soon as you click on record button, if that is your first time, as soon as you launch your QTP tool means it will give you like a record and run settings. So once you set up your record and run settings, then you launch Internet Explorer. Mm, okay. So whatever the operations you are recording, so that is nothing but like your normal recording. You remember here means it's not recording, launching your Internet Explorer. Most of the people ask again and again, even though I say a couple of times like they just record, they just click a run button, say it doesn't execute. The reason behind this is like it's not recording launching your Internet Explorer, right? The thing here is like if it is Windows XP, your QTP tool automatically record launching your Internet Explorer. But Windows 7 or Windows 8 means QTP doesn't record automatically. At that point of time, you have to add one statement. So that is nothing but like system util dot run. System util dot run, and you go that application Internet Explorer, rightly excuse me, properties. If you go for this is the path where it was installed, that is the path. If you take okay, you have to give that path. This is the simple statement you have to add. Then if you execute, it will execute. So without adding that statement, if you try executing means it will throw you error. So it's trying to set page, but it has to set gmail.com means this window should be available, right? This window is not available means how it will set? That is the reason it will give you an error message. Okay, so whenever you record each and every action whatever you are performing in your application, it will get record in two views, keyword view and expert view by default. Okay, so who is good technically or programmatic skills are good, those people go for like this expert view. But who is not good, who are from non-computer background, those people can go here and understand clearly or come up with this script. See here, by default you are seeing like four columns like item, operation, value, documentation. Here on which item you are performing operation and what is the value you are giving for that object. Okay, and documentation. So documentation is nothing but like what exactly that action you are performing. See here, open Internet Explorer application, navigate gmail.com in the browser, enter your email. This is what anybody can understand easily, right? So that is the advantage of like your keyword view. Excuse me. Okay, by default you will be able to see like four columns, but completely you will be having here like six columns. Those are nothing but like assignment, comment also. Assignment means if it is like a equal to 10, like that, if you are assigning values to any of the variables at that point of time, it will make it as a like assignment. You can add comments in your program, right? In any of the programming language you go for means for user understanding purpose, you will be adding comments like launching Internet Explorer. Okay, so what I'm giving like for commenting in your QTP, single quote is the command. After giving single quote, whatever the statement you give, it will simply ignore, it doesn't execute during your run time. Okay, like that, if you add comment in your keyword view, it will make it as like comment. Okay, see comment it has given, comment it has given, right? So that is the purpose of like comment. Okay, this is normal basic operation QTP perform during your recording. Another important thing is like whatever the action you are performing, each and every action, it will take QTP will capture screenshot. See here, username you are entered, it was captured screenshot. Gmail you are entered, but it's unable to capture. Okay, see, password you are entered, it was captured screenshot. Okay, that is the advantage of like your QTP tool. In our IT industry, there are so many automation tools available, but no other tool come up with this feature. Only QTP come up with this feature. So that is the specialty of your QTP tool. Then what is the advantage of this capturing screenshot? See, what are the statement you want to see, like if you go and enable, it's giving you the screenshot. So by looking this screen, you'll be able to understand very easily like what is the uh, what is that step exactly performing, right? So that is the advantage of like your active step. Okay, so this is another special feature in QTP they come up with. This is nothing but like your normal record. During normal recording, what QTP does, all of your mouse and keyboard operations it will record. Mouse and keyboard operations it will record. Okay, but okay, you want to operate your computer, either mouse or keyboard you will use, right? Then that is what is trying to record. So that is nothing but like your normal recording. But sometimes you may get a chance to make signature or graph, something like that, right? To make signature or create a graph, draw a diagram, something like that. This kind of situation you may come across. At that point of time, QTP cannot record during normal recording. Okay, before going online recording, why you are calling it a normal recording? If you are using recording feature in your QTP, 99 percentage of cases you will be using normal recording only. That is the reason the name itself they made it as like normal recording. Normal recording also you can consider it like standard recording. Normal recording also you can consider it like standard recording. Okay, so that is nothing but like a normal recording. But remember, while discussing, we say like we'll be recording, but in real time, today your implementing framework means we don't use even recording feature. Directly, we'll be coming up with scripting. So that is what when you will understand is like once we finish our QTP and we be scripting even, then we start up with our automation, right? Our framework implementation. So at the time you'll get to know how you'll really come up with the scripting without recording. So with the help of normal recording, all of your mouse and keyboard operations you'll record, but sometimes you may get a chance to record making signature or drawing diagram or graphs. But that one your QTP tool cannot record. Simply I have to say means like mouse movements. So you have to go for like mouse movements means you should go for like analog record. You have to go for analog recording means just click on recording, then automation. Here if you go for like analog recording and low level recording, so which one you have to go, that is the option you can choose. Okay, remember another thing like whenever your QTP tool is in recording, then only it will be enabled. Otherwise, it doesn't enable. See here, it's grayed out, right? So that means you cannot choose. Okay, so whenever your QTP tool is under recording mode, then only you will be able to choose those options. So analog recording, immediately it's asking you like record relative to screen or record relative to the following window. Record relative to screen means your screen resolution. Your screen resolution. Okay, you are recorded in this computer, but your automation purpose is like make it a chance to execute in another computer also. At that time, computer to computer screen resolution make it vary. So there are chances to get fail your script. That is the reason it's not good to go for like record relative to screen. So always best option to go with respect to screen. Okay, so you have to go for analog recording means, so it's asking you to show first QTP which window. Okay, it has taken, then start analog recording, then you draw whatever the diagram you want. Okay, once you drag, then stop. It has taken like track one. That means whatever that graph you have drawn, QTP is considered in the form of like track. All of your mouse and keyboard operations, it was recorded in the form of like mouse. You have just pointer you have drawn, right? Okay, so that is what it was recorded in the form of track. So when you execute, see what is doing, whatever you done during recording, exactly that is what even runtime also is trying to perform. That is the purpose of like your analog recording. So mostly if you get a chance to work with like banking applications, at that time while submitting application or something like that, you may get a chance to make signature, right? So at that point of time you go for, otherwise you will never get a chance to go for like analog recording. Okay, this is nothing but like analog recording. Also you can consider like low level, sorry, high level recording. Then another recording mode you have is nothing but like low level recording. What is low level recording? When you go for, let us suppose just now you came across one issue like you're launching Internet Explorer, then setting up gmail.com, then setting up username password, click on sign in button. If you remember, it was not recorded launching Internet Explorer, right? That is what you done manually. You have given system utility data and that is the path. This kind of situation may happen at any point of time, even in your application. Let us suppose you are entering correct username, you are entering password, click on sign in button, verify home page. Let us assume entering password is not recorded. What does it mean? QTP not able to identify that object. QTP unable to identify that object. That is the reason it was not recorded. Why is unable to identify? What is the need of recognizing that object? That is what our next topic, object identification. I'll be explaining you in detail at that point of time. Just as of now, assume, think about it like 10 actions you have performed in your application, but 9 actions it was recorded. One manual action, whatever you performed in your application, QTP doesn't record. Let us assume. At that point of time, what does it mean is like QTP cannot identify. So if that is the situation in your real time, you cannot stop your automation because of that simple issue, right? So what you will do at this point of time is like you go for low level recording. You go for low level recording. So what is low level recording? QTP is facing some issues while recording. So at the time you go for low level recording. Okay. So first, let me record like flight reservations, flight application. It's not required at this point of time. Just for awareness purpose, I'm recording. Just a second. Okay. Then what I'm doing is like, okay. So again, I'm going for like Internet Explorer. So gmail.com. Okay. Let us suppose at this point of time, clicking on sorry, clicking at sign in button, not recording. Let us assume it's not identifying. Some due to some issues, it's unable to record. Then at that point of time, what you can do is like you can go for high level, low level recording. Sorry. So automation, low level recording. So click. Okay, it was recorded, right? So like that, you will go for and perform that is the operation in your low level recording. That is the reason I recorded once again. So window application, how it's taking? Dialog is taking, you see. Or yesterday you could have observed like window. Once you click on OK button, it will allow you to navigate like reservation system. That main window means it will take it as a window. Or if it is dialog, actually that is the reason it's taking it as dialog. So here paint application, how is considering it as normal window application. So if it is window application means QTP will record it as window. If it is web based application means it will record it as like browser. Okay, it will record it as like browser. Okay, but you remember here I recorded clicking at sign in button using low level recording. So how it has recorded? So window object. That is the purpose of it, like your low level recording. Okay, so if you go for low level recording means whatever the development environment it is your application, temporarily it will consider it as a normal window application and recognize it as and record it as a window object. So that is what you have to remember. Okay, so during low level recording, what is the thing is like if any of the object or action performing issues in recording means you go for like low level recording. But one thing you have to remember is like during low level recording, whatever the development environment is, the application is okay, but temporarily it will enable as a normal Windows application and recognize it as normal window application. This is nothing but like your recording modes available in your QTP. So these three are the recording modes available in your QTP. So any questions before moving further? Okay. So no questions means even you can ask at the end of our session. So this is nothing but like your recording. During recording, what exactly QTP does? That is what if we go for in QTP, you will come up with one concept that is the heart of your automation. That is nothing but like object repository. That is nothing but object repository. What do you mean by repository? Is nothing but like storage kind of stuff, right? So object repository means all the objects gets stored into this repository. So that is nothing but like object repository. So while recording, so you want to go for object repository means like resources, object repository. resources object repository. So right now there are no objects in your object repository. There are no objects in your object repository. Okay, so I'm starting normal recording. Okay, so I am setting up like username. What happened, you see, that object email got added to your object repository and generated that step here in your qtp. Again, if I go for like entering password, what qtp does, password object got added to your object repository and generated that step in your qtp test pane. Exactly, if I perform like sign in, click on sign in button. Sign in button got added to your object repository and generated the step. Excuse me. That means what your QTP is doing, on which all are the objects you are performing manual actions. First, QTP trying to identify that object, try to recognize that object and gets stored into your object repository and generating that step here. Okay, so and which are the idea is very simple. While qtp, while recording in your qtp, what is the mechanism qtp follows in backend is, so and which are the objects you are performing actions, your manual actions, those objects gets identified uniquely, stores into your object repository and generates that step in your qtp. That is the mechanism your qtp to follows. Okay, that means like flow will be during recording. How it will be like, first your application, then control is going to object repository, then control is going to test pane. But while executing, what qtp does is like, first it will come to like test pane. Test pane means this is the statement. That means like in this browser, in this page, it has to perform sign in operation. Before that, it has to perform sign in operation means it has to identify this object, right? So that is the reason it has to identify this object means qtp control goes to object repository and performs this is the operation in your application. Simply, it's completely opposite with respect to record. Okay, so first test pane, then object repository, and finally performs that is the action in your application. Okay, so its idea is very simple. While recording, the qtp control works like application first, then object repository, then test pane. While running, it's completely opposite. So first test pane, then that means like your test script, then your object repository, then performs that action in your application. This is what the mechanism qtp follows. Okay, this is nothing but like your recording, but the point here is like, what is the mechanism qtp follows for identifying any other object? That is what our class, that is object identification mechanism. That is nothing but your object identification mechanism. Okay, so in order to understand what is the object identification mechanism qtp follows, before moving that one, you should be aware of very basic stuff like object oriented concepts, like what is object, what is class, what is method, what is property. If you are aware of this is the stuff, then it will make your life easy in understanding object identification mechanism. If you are from computers background, excuse me, So these are the concepts you could have come across during your studies time, object oriented concepts or something like that. Some papers you will come across there. Complete topic you will come up with like these are the topics, this is the concept, but in detail that much you are not aware of, but very high level what is required for you during your qtp automation, that is what I will explain you. In your real world, whatever you see means like house, laptop, okay, then chair, tree, everything you can consider it as a one object. Right? Chair, tv, mobile phone, stone, everything you can consider it as one object. Even human being, we also one object, right? Okay, so that is nothing but like one object. Okay, any of the object you take, like one student, he will be having some properties, right? Like a human being, if you take what is first name, last name, middle name, age, date of birth, all these are nothing but like some properties for that object. Exactly, if you take house, how many floors, one house, if you take like how many rooms, how many halls, how many kitchen rooms, like that, what is the color, height, that is nothing but like properties. Exactly, tree, if you take, what is the name of the tree, what is the color, how many branches it have, how many leaves it's having. Okay, exactly like that. Like that, I mean to say here is like every object should be having some properties. Some properties. Every object should be having some properties. Okay, one institute we have, let us suppose. In that institute, there are so many students available. Each and every student have some properties like first name, last name, middle name, age, date of birth, present address, permanent address. What is the course he is taking? Right? What is the course he is in? That is nothing but like each and every student you can consider it as one object. Okay, that is fine. Then who all are designed for testing? You can consider him as testing class. Who all are designed for Java? You'll treat those people as Java, Java team, right? That is nothing but like group of objects with similar properties. All houses belongs to houses class. All human beings belongs to human beings class. All trees belongs to trees class. Again, in trees, different classes you may come up with, like mango trees, banana trees. All mangoes trees belongs to mango trees class. All banana trees belongs to banana trees class. Exactly like that. Within human beings, if we take all Americans belongs to Americans class. All India people belongs to Indian class. All you like that. Okay. Again, all males belongs to males class. All females belongs to females class. Like that, all who all are aware of like English, they belongs to English class. Who all are aware of like French language belongs to French. That is nothing but like class. Independent object, independent entity. You'll consider it as like object. Each and every entity should be having some properties. So those properties, some objects may have some common properties. So those objects with similar properties, you will consider it as like class. Okay, so this is nothing but like your object and class. Okay, so then property and method I will tell you exactly like that. If you take your computers, any of the applications you take, you should be having some objects, some entities, some fields you have, right? See here, Gmail, a lots of space, less spam. mobile access, username, password sign. Every field you can treat it as one object. Username is one object, password is one object, sign in is one object. Like that, every field you can consider it as a one object. Okay, that is fine. So in our real world, each and every object if you take, so should be having some properties, right? Exactly like that. Here also, for putting that object, developer could have used so many properties. What are those properties? You want to check which properties that object is having. Means you go for like object spec. Object spec. Okay. So object spec here, some head icon is there, right? That is what you can consider like object spec. Or tools window, if you go for there also you see like object spec. Either one you go for which one you feel comfortable. So object spec, click on hand icon. Which object properties you have to view, you have to observe, that is the object. You go and click means see window edit email, that is the name developer has given for that object. And what is the hierarchy is displaying there, browser, page and object. I could have told you like in a first class, for developing any of the application, developer what is the process he follow is like browser he will consider it like page, page he will divide into frames, frames into subframes, subframes into table, tables into subtables, subtables into subtables, like that. And smallest independent cell he take and he will put into object. Right. So exactly that is what here you are performing, that is the mechanism qtp also following while identifying. Even for inserting that object, developer which properties he used, those are the properties qtp also look for identifying that object uniquely. See here, any other object, if you go for class name, absolute x, absolute y, inner test, outer test, length, width, height, rows, like this, you will come up with. Okay, exactly. If you go for like sign in button, see what is taking, web button is taking sign in, different properties. Like that, whatever the object you go, each and every object should be having some properties. Based on those properties only, qtp try identity. I have to identify Shweta. How I'll identify? Before that, one student if we take, there are so many properties like first name, last name, middle name, age, date of birth, like that, right? So, but I have to identify Shweta. So, which, even though this object having so many properties, but I don't want to look for all those properties. Minimum number of properties I will consider, right? Do I have to consider all those properties? More than 100 or 1000 properties you may come across. But all those properties I don't want to look for. Only few properties like which minimum number of properties I can look for. What are those minimum number of properties? Name means like first name and gender. If I consider these two properties, I will identify any of the human being very easily. Right? So exactly how we use for identifying any of the object in our real nature. Exactly, QTP also follows the similar mechanism. Okay, so however, how like is helping us name and gender providing unique identification. Exactly, QTP also username if you take. Okay, username, username, object I have to identify. So what is the before that, what are the properties it will come across? Class name, label, name, age, date of birth, like that. So many will come up with. But class name equal to that one. What we will call it as edit box. Name, class name, and name. Okay, what is the name? Email it will take normally, or as of now you take like username only. Okay. So let us suppose these two properties QTP was stored in that object repository. Then while running QTP, how to identify, how to consider these two properties for identifying that object, right? So first is it will go in sequence manner. First, this is nothing but like image. Google you can consider like this is nothing but image. So first it will look for like first property. What is the first property? Class name is nothing but edit box. So is this edit box? No. Is this edit box? No. Is this edit box? No. Like the sequence it will come. It will come here. Is this edit box? Yes. This is the edit box. First property match. Then is that edit box having name as username? Yeah, perfect. So both of those properties match. Both of those properties match. Okay. So that is how QTP follows a mechanism for identifying any of the objects. Exactly. For password, let us assume password. For password, what is the object? Password also edit box. Then name is password. Okay. So these two properties provides unique identification for password. Exactly like that. If I go for like sign in is what do you call? Is it edit box? No. That is push button. Okay. Then what is the name? Sign. So like exactly like that. If I go for like cannot access your account, cannot access your account. So that is what we'll call it as link. Like that, if you take how many classes you will come up with? Link, push button, combo box, list box, horizontal scroll bar, vertical scroll bar, image, web element. These all are nothing but like different classes you will come up with in your video. Okay, these are nothing but different classes you will come up with for any of the application. That is fine. So now you have to identify any of the object. You got some idea, right? How QTP identifies the object. Okay, let us assume in our class there are two persons with the same name, like two Shwetas are there. Let us assume at that time how you will identify, how you will differentiate both of them. So every object should have so many properties like that. You may, so at this point of time, if you consider like name and gender doesn't provide unique identification, so what to do, you may add few more properties. Like what are the few more properties you can add? What you can add? Surname, right? Or last name. Surname if you add, it will definitely provide you unique identification. Exactly like that. By chance, for any of the object in QTP doesn't provide unique identification means it may add few more properties. Okay, it may add few more properties. Like there are so many properties, right? Okay, inner test, outer test, HTML tag, like that. Some more properties it may add. Few more properties it may add. That means like till it provides unique identification. But how many properties it will add? It's adding one property, like surname you are adding. It's immediately providing unique identification. Then you don't want to add a few more properties. Exactly here also, it will try to add indentation. It doesn't provide unique identification. If it provides unique identification, then it will just ignore. It will stop there. If indentation doesn't provide unique identification, means it will go for HTML tag. HTML tag provides unique identification, it will stop there. Doesn't provide means it may look for few more properties. That is the mechanism QTP follows. Okay, so this is nothing but like few more properties. When that means like here it's looking for minimum number of properties. Minimum number of properties doesn't provide unique identification means it may look for few more additional properties. Okay, let us assume both of them are twins. Two Shwetas are there, both of them are twins. Let us assume. So surname also same, right? So at that point of time, how you differentiate both of them? Surname, height, width, length, age, everything. Twins means these days you are getting like exactly same, right? Same color, same voice also same letters also. Like that they born. Then how you will differentiate both of them? At this point of time, what you can do is like you can add number to that one, right? Like 1, 2, 3. Sweta 1, Sweta 2, Sweta 3, something like that, right? Okay, exactly like that. See, that means like here two objects with similar properties, if you come across by chance, at the time you will be indexing those objects like 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly, QTP also follows the similar mechanism at the point of time. Best example, Facebook. If you go for Facebook, add friend, so many buttons you will come up with same description. Same description here means height, width, length, everything is same. At the time QTP, how differently it will identify each and everything? Simply it will try to add index, like add friend 1, add friend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. It will try to add index. Okay, let us assume due to index also doesn't provide unique identification. Index also doesn't provide unique identification. Then what QTP can look for is like location. Okay, then location is nothing but like absolute x, absolute y, absolute x, absolute y, means one place is there, two objects, developer cannot insert, right? One chair is there in the class, one seat is there, two persons cannot sit. Exactly like that, one place, developer cannot insert two objects. One place, developer cannot insert two objects, right? Exactly like that, location will definitely provide you the solution. Okay, now what I'm doing is like I'm opening 5 internet explorers. If you observe, all 5 internet explorers getting at a same location, same description. See, you're getting same whatever you open. Are you really see differentiating both of them? Both of them? No, right? All getting at same location with the same size, same description, same properties. If this is the situation, how QTP identifies? At that point of time, QTP try to add creation time. Creation time means at what point of time that object is getting displayed. For getting displayed two objects, at least some fraction of seconds time gap should be there, right? So at which point of time is getting displayed, if you record that time, it will definitely solve your solution, provides your solution. That is what QTP look for. Okay, so that is the mechanism QTP follows for identifying any of the object. So like initially it will look for like minimum number of properties. So minimum number of properties are nothing but like class and label or class and name. Those properties you will consider it as like mandatory properties. Mandatory properties, compulsory properties. any of the object you have to identify means at least one property you should have, minimum number of properties you should have, right? You should consider at least. That is nothing but like compulsory properties. Mandatory properties doesn't provide unique identification means you may add few more properties, right? Those are nothing but like assistive properties. Okay, so in case mandatory properties doesn't provide unique identification means qtp can go for like assistive properties. Even assistive properties also doesn't provide unique identification means it can go for ordinal identifier. Ordinal identifier. So ordinal identifier is nothing but like index, location, creation time. Indexing is nothing but like yard friend 1, yard friend 2, yard friend 3, something like that. Location means absolute location of that object. Then creation time, at which time the object is getting populated, is getting created. That is the time if we add. So that is nothing but like creation time. Okay, so then XPath, CSS, and visual identification. In latest version, latest identification mechanism they come up with. This is one. This is the one I will show you like during your Selenium. But what is XPath? What is CSS path? I will tell you very high level. XPath. Whatever the house you are staying, that house in this globe have unique address, right? Unique address, correct? Whatever the house you are staying in this globe, you have unique address. Exactly in your computer, in any of the application, whatever the object developer is putting, each and every object should be having some unique ID. That is nothing but like what we will consider like XPath. That is what you'll consider like XPath. So each and every object should be having some unique ID. That is nothing but XPath. I will show you during your Selenium. Then CSS, cascading style sheet, means your house. How you'll consider country, state, district, city, something like that will come up, right? That means like complete flow, complete path. Exactly any of the object, how qtp is identifying browser dot page dot frame dot something like that, right? That complete each and every object should be having complete path from parent, from browser. Okay, so that is what if you consider. So that is nothing but like css path. Cascading style sheet. See, browser, page, frame, frame to, table, table to, dot object. That means like complete each and every object should be having that path. So some point of time you may go for like see, you don't want to go for like all at a time like XPath and CSS path. Some point of time some objects you go for XPath or CSS path. It doesn't mean like you have to go for all. Depends on situation. You may go for either one. Then visual identification. Okay, visual identification. I'm in class, if you remember like during your child days, someone's name you don't remember. At the time you say like next to Hamira. If you say like that means like you are unable to identify some object. How you are identifying that object, that student? Around, looking around students, with the help of that one you are calling that, you are referring that object. Exactly like that. In QTP, you are unable to identify any of the object means you will look around objects. That is nothing but like your visual identification. Okay, that is nothing but your visual identification. So this is the mechanism QTP follows for identifying any of the object. Okay, so this is nothing but like your object identification mechanism. So there are three recording modes you will come up with: normal recording, high level recording, and low level recording. So during recording, what is the mechanism QTP follows is like it will try to identify any of the that means like while recording and which are the objects you are performing operations. Those objects it will try to identify uniquely and get stored into your object repository and generates the step in your QTP. While running, first it will go for like your QTP test scape, then it will control goes to like object repository for identifying that object and performs the step in your application. That is the mechanism QTP follows. But how QTP identifies the object? That is nothing but like object identification mechanism. That is nothing but like your initially it will look for monetary properties. Monetary properties doesn't provide unique identification, means it will go for assistive properties. That means like a little bit more properties. So even those properties also doesn't provide, means it will go for ordinal identifier. Ordinal identifier is nothing but like index, location, and creation time. Okay, so that is what if I go for like object repository. Okay, so let me see. uh, oh, username is not there. Okay. Okay, if I go for object repository, all these objects got added, right? So if I go for email, which properties it will look using? Class name and label provides unique identification, right? But why QTP is looking for few more properties? This is what I will tell you later. Normally, you may think like automation tool, it will automate everything, but that is 100% wrong. QTP or any of the automation tool doesn't do anything. It will provide you control. It will provide you interface for automating any of the application. Okay, you can control the tool for coming up with your automation tool for automating any of the application. QTP tool is nothing but QTP or any of the tool is nothing but like just provides user interface. With the help of that user interface, you will come up with automation. Like that, even for object identification also, QTP doesn't do anything. You can instruct your QTP tool like for identifying any of the object, these are the properties you look for. You have to identify sign in button. These are the properties you look for identifying that object at the time of recording. If it is link, these are the properties you look for. Like that, you can instruct your QTP tool. How you can instruct? That is nothing but like configuration. Some configuration needs to be done. So in my computer, how it was configured, right? Configure is like for identifying any of the edit bus. These are the properties you look for. Like that, I have configured. That is the reason QTP looking for. These are the properties. Okay, so how you will configure, that is later advanced feature, that is what you get to know later. And remember another important thing, if you will be into automation testing, at each and every fraction of second you will get in touch with object identification. If you doesn't understand this object identification, you cannot do anything in your automation front. 100%, there is no doubt. That is the reason you can also consider like object identification is nothing but heart of your automation. But it's not really difficult, it's very easy, but only the thing is you have to think little bit. Okay, and another important thing is like not only QTP, any of the tool if you go for similar object identification mechanism follow, but little bit customizable. Okay, terminology make it vary or something like that, but very high level object identification in any of the tool comes with like. Okay, so this is nothing but your object identification. Anybody having any questions? No, no questions means we'll end up our session. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, tomorrow same time we'll meet up. Okay, I have already emailed previous months. Okay, again I will email, but I have to upload, means it will take some time. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I will send it to you by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Friday 7 and 8. Yeah, if all of you okay means for me no problem. All of you comfortable? All of you okay? All of you okay means we can make it 7 to 8, no problem. We will check with Ashwini also tomorrow. Okay, we'll make it like that. Okay. Any more questions? Exactly. Right. Each and every object information gets stored into your object repository. You can modify very well. Okay. You can do everything. Modify. You can add properties, delete properties, even existing properties names you have to modify means you can modify everything you can do. That was step by step we will learn. Okay. Okay then. Thanks for your time. Have a good night. Okay. See you. Bye. Tomorrow same time we'll meet up.